Hi there and good morning, Scott. I hope it's okay that Michaela gave me your email to go ahead and send this little video to. My name is Heidi Robertson, and what I do is kind of try to help local businesses and small businesses try to improve their online presence to try and get a little bit more business headed your way if you're interested. And I was hoping you'd give a few minutes to go ahead and watch this and let me know what you think. So this is your website. The video on the background is super cool. It actually looks fantastic. The site is eye-catching, and the only thing that I would look at here is that there's not very much content. There's not a whole lot of words going on here. And one of the weird things that Google actually looks for is a lot of words on your front page, because they're looking for something that's going to give verbiage and value to the internet. So they'll rate you higher if you have a lot of content on your front page especially. And then I have a couple other websites here of your competition that I was going to let you look at too. Thing is, they kind of have the same problem going on, but they are rating higher on Google. And I can show you why too. So when we look up Google, if I just Google concrete contractor in Colorado Springs, sorry about that, a little bit tongue-tied. The ones that pop up here, and I went ahead and grabbed Russin Concrete Construction because they come up in what's called the map pack right here, which is usually what people will go off of. They'll see those first three and they just kind of look there. And then they also come down here and see on this very first page, you always know you know there's X amount of pages on Google, but you really only go to the first one. So I grabbed one of the other ones right off the front of there, and it's this fancy, flat and fancy, so that you can see the two different ways that they rate. So this Russin Concrete right here is another page similar, where it has a lot of photos. It doesn't have any blogs or anything like that, not a whole lot of words going on in here. So getting ahead of them is actually pretty easy because they don't really show up. They're showing up for other reasons here on Google, so it's easy to outrank a site like that. And then the same thing with this Flat and Fancy here in Colorado Springs also. They have, and it's also a pretty site. It just doesn't have very many words or anything going on in there to give it value to Google in itself. And if we want to take a look, I can show you this is your website. This is a paid tool that I have called Ahrefs. You can use it as well. It is public. It does cost a little bit, but it shows us what your site is doing kind of in the background. So this is your URL rating. This is what Google rates your URL, which isn't bad. Usually you can get it down here in the 40s and 50s range. And this is the domain rating. This is kind of what Google wants to know, if your site is not just safe, but if it's kind of a popularity contest, if you will, honestly. And you kind of want both of these to be even, so somewhere down here in this range to really knock it out of the park. And then the other thing that they look at is a thing called backlinks, and this is that any site that your site is linked to, like if somebody goes to another website, we can kind of put drop in a little plug for your company on their site as well. So you do have 117 of those, which isn't bad at all. And then you've got some referring domains. Same thing. We'd like to bring those numbers up a little bit. But the one that stands out the most to me here for us is that the organics, which means, so that's the very first front page of Google that we were talking about. So it's this information right down here. This is called the organic area of Google. And how you get in there is to hide all of these other informational tools and bits of stuff in your site to get you in there. And you don't have any. This also means that right here, so while your website is eye-catching, without the right words kind of stashed in there, Google doesn't really recognize it. So it's not pulling it up anywhere if people just do a search for concrete or concrete contractors or concrete, construction, your site really isn't popping up for people to click on. And this right here, this 0 means that it's not getting any clicks. Like people are not visiting your site basically at all. And then just in comparison to show you those other sites, we'll look at, here's that Russ and Concrete. So they are up here, their URL rating's 22. They definitely could bring theirs up in this area too. So they're not doing so hot. They're, like I said, they're rating for there's different reasons that they're up on top. They do have another 100 backlinks than you do, and about 40 more referring domains. So this is pages that we want to come back to your business. This is other places we want to mention you. And then their organic keywords, whereas you had 0, they have 228, which still just is not very many, but they are getting 268 clicks per month. So that's how many people they have visiting their website, simply because they kind of show up at the top. They have these keywords that are hidden. They're not hidden, I guess that's not the right word, but they're in there, and they just show. They're the words that people use to search you, is what they are. So if you're looking at, if people are looking up, like I said, specifically a concrete company, that'll pop up, but they're going to be looking at Colorado Springs concrete companies, concrete contractors in Colorado Springs, which is the Google one that I brought you. And they're getting this pretty decent traffic over here. And then when I go in and check out your website, I don't have any way to be able to click on it because you don't have any keywords stuffed into your website. So that's something that you would want to take into consideration and possibly improve so that you can bring this number up. Same thing with that other site. It's just got the same thing. Not as many keywords, but they're also getting 257 clicks per month. That's, that's traffic that you're missing out on that you could possibly be getting up into there over the next month, 2 months or so, if we could get you rated up in there. And then the other thing I wanted to show you, and I don't usually bring this up, but this is kind of the first way that I was able to find you, is just that your Facebook page, and I hate to see this because I know that you take the time to put the posts in there. These ones are a little bit older. I'm not sure if you still use it, but it would be a very useful tool, this as well as Instagram and a couple of others. The social media tools are super popular and they're an easy way to get your name out there. And you could go ahead and utilize this site, and it's a free tool, but there's not any traffic on it either. And I know part of that might just be because you're not active on it anymore, but it would definitely be helpful to reactivate that and get the right words in there and get the right ratings up there too, and connect it back to your Google, just to help boost it a little bit more. Every little bit helps. And just make sure that all your information matches up the same. Your hours, your phone number. Google likes to look at things when they're in this area here. They like all of your information to match 100% across the board. So if you're using 3 or 4 different venues to try and bring business to your company, they're going to start noticing you and taking you serious if you have the same information verbatim across the board. And like I said, these other companies do show up at the top, but the information that they have is easily, very easily able to be outrated and outdone. I did say I'd keep it short. I went a little bit longer than I intended. I hope that some of this has been useful to you, just to kind of see where you are out there. Like I said, if you are interested, feel free to shoot me a message or a phone call. My number is 406-291-6569, and I am Treasure Mountain SEO, and I'm from Montana, so my phone number is a little bit different, but I'm down here local in your area now. And if it's not anything that's valuable to you, no harm, no foul. You don't have to get back to me, but if there is a little bit of feedback you'd like to give me, go ahead and shoot some my way. I'm sure open to constructive criticism, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much, Scott. Have a great day.